The dinner was supposed to be a celebration, my father-in-law's 60th birthday, a family gathering. But something about the atmosphere felt wrong the moment I walked into the restaurant. There she was, Emily, my wife's sister, sitting at the far end of the table. Her sharp, fake smile directed at me was the first sign that something was off. She made no effort to hide the disdain in her eyes as I took my seat next to my wife, Allison. Allison had been quieter than usual, more composed but distant. Her fingers traced the rim of her wine glass. I felt the tension crawl up my spine. "Here we go," Emily muttered under her breath, loud enough for me to hear. "Stop pretending you have money, Drake." I didn't flinch. I didn't even acknowledge her, but I heard the mocking laughter that followed. It wasn't just Emily. The whole table, my in-laws, the people who were supposed to be family, laughed along with her. The sound was sharp, scornful. My eyes didn't leave the table as I pulled out my black card. I didn't need to look at it. I knew what it was. I knew the weight of it. It was my shield, my weapon. The waiter came to collect the check. I handed the card over. $3,000, Mr. Anderson, the waiter said, holding the card at arm's length. I nodded. Then the waiter's eyes widened, his hand shaking as he swiped the card through the machine. "Declined," he said. The room fell silent. All of them. My wife, her family, the people who had mocked me for years. I sat still. Emily leaned forward, a gleam in her eyes. I knew it. He's just a fraud, playing pretend. I remained calm, but inside, something was shifting. The manager rushed over. His face was pale. "Mr. Anderson, I'm terribly sorry," he said. "There seems to be an issue with the system, but we still owe you $500,000 from last month's catering contract." I sat back. A single glance at Allison confirmed my suspicions. Her eyes were wide. She had no idea what was happening. No one laughed now. The moment the words left the manager's mouth, everything clicked. I hadn't asked for that catering contract. The company was mine. And I hadn't told anyone. Not Allison, not her family, not even Emily. I let them think I was broke. Let them believe I was a failure. But the truth? The truth was different. That night, everything changed. I didn't need to ask. I already knew. The pieces fell into place with a terrifying precision. I'd known for months that Allison had been distant. Her late nights, the texts she'd been hiding, the way her eyes darted when I asked simple questions. It wasn't just the money. It wasn't just the power. It was the small details, the ones she didn't think to hide. It was him, David, her old college professor, the one she'd confided in when she thought I wouldn't notice, when I thought I wouldn't notice. I'd played the part of the oblivious husband for months, all the while collecting the evidence, watching her slip, watching her fail. I didn't want to believe it at first, but how could I ignore the signs? I stayed calm as the evening unfolded. I let my wife stare at me with confusion, let her wonder if I was angry. She didn't know that my mind was already working, already calculating. I didn't say a word. I just let her stew in her discomfort, let her glance at the manager, then at me. She'd never looked so vulnerable. I didn't confront her that night. No, that would be too easy. I didn't need to. The game had just begun. I paid the bill. Partially, the restaurant wasn't going to let me leave with a declined card, not after they owed me so much. The next day, I took the first step. I requested a full financial audit of my company, everything that had been hidden from me, all the transfers, the contracts, the deals. And, as I expected, there it was, a web of lies, paper trails leading back to David. The truth was undeniable. I held the folder in my hands, the printout of the receipts, the bank statements, the contracts, all pointing to one thing. David had been funneling money from my business. He wasn't just a professor. He was a parasite. Allison had known. She had helped him. She'd believed I would never find out. I walked into the living room, where she sat watching TV. Her gaze shifted to the folder in my hand. "Drake," she started, but her voice faltered. She didn't know where this was going. I didn't speak. I handed her the folder. She took it, her hands shaking as she flipped through the pages. Her face drained of color as she saw the evidence. It was all there, clear, irrefutable. "Why?" I asked, my voice cold, detached. "Why, Allison?" She opened her mouth, but the words never came. The guilt, the shame, it was written all over her face. I didn't need to hear her explanation. I knew it already. I stood there, watching her struggle, watching her break. All those years, the lies, the betrayal, the time I had wasted, all of it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "You can leave," I said, my voice steady. "Take your things. I've already signed the divorce papers." Her eyes widened. She looked up, confused, almost frantic. "What are you talking about? You can't just—" "I've already left," I interrupted. "I've been gone for months. I've been living on my own. I knew what you were doing." Her lips trembled. Her shoulders hunched in defeat. "I thought you'd never find out," she whispered. But I had. I didn't stay for the emotional breakdown. I didn't need to. I walked out of that house, out of that life, with only the faintest sense of relief. The game was over. I was free. And I had nothing left to say. The truth had been exposed, and with it, my silence was the loudest weapon of all.